And the playoff push is on here on 4/11 while we are recording. Steven here, Dan over there.
What's up, guys? Playoffs are around the corner. Let's get it started.
You are listening to the Sndpodcast show on the Schmuck Sports Network. You also just listened to The Score by Division 1.1.
There's a lot of scoring going on, if you know what I mean, with the Islanders, Rangers, and Devils, and the Knicks and Nets.
I wouldn't really say Devils, but we'll get into that a little later.
Hi-yo.
Playoff fever is in the air. Basketball's got, what, about a week?
Yeah, a week.
About a week left, a little less than a week. NHL's got about a little more than 2 weeks left in the season, in the shortened season.
The playoffs
The
are in the
tri-state
air.
area is in playoff push fever. All over the place. We have a fun-filled packed show today. We're going to review, Dan's going to review the NCAA tournament while I cry a little bit.
That's not going to be much because I barely watched because college basketball is boring.
We'll talk some local NBA teams, who we want to see them face in the first round, basically who we think the best matchups will be. We got some hockey talk for you. Big games going on. Big games coming up in hockey, and also baseball season's a weekend. So it's a fun time right now in the tri-state area sports-wise. So we have a fun-filled packed show for you guys. But first off, Dan, how was WrestleMania?
WrestleMania was very fun. It was my first wrestling event in ages. I'd like to thank my cousin John and his wonderful girlfriend Giselle for the tickets. We had fun. It was like nice, like childhood memory for me and him. And we just had fun. It wasn't the best pay-per-view. I felt it was a little rushed. But all in all, a fun night. It was a great match with Undertaker and Punk. That was definitely the best fight of the night. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Undertaker won. Granted, I picked CM Punk in our predictions, but obviously,
yes,
I wanted to be different.
Did go 1 out of 3.
Yeah, Cena was the only one I got right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the other two I was just being funny and obviously went the opposite direction.
Well, the past 4 times Lesnar and Triple H fought, broke his arm.
Yeah, I should have realized that Triple H's career was on the line, and I would have been easy to say Triple H was obviously going to win. Anyway, it was a fun night. We saw people that I haven't seen in a while, so it was nice seeing those people. I do have to say, I hope I don't offend anybody, but Jesus, I have never seen so many like nerdy people in my life. Like,
wow,
I understand.
Just throw everybody under the bus.
No. There's difference. I consider myself a pretty nerdy, geeky person, but these grown-ass people dressing up as wrestlers was pretty ridiculous and walking around in like their $200 replica championship belt like they're The Rock. It was the most upsetting thing. It's like, dude, give it a rest. I saw one guy. This guy was so out of shape and gross. He dressed up. He had a wig and he dressed up like Bret Hart in the pink tights. The whole thing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, am I seeing this right now? It's the grossest thing ever. And people dressing up like Macho Man Randy Savage and like Hulk Hogan. It was just like, okay, this is a little weird for me.
Some people wanted Hulk Hogan out there, can I tell you?
And they had the championship belts. Like, this one guy thought he was in like NWO with his belt over his shoulder the whole pay-per-view. I just wanted to smack him. It was like, you're an asshole.
Well, the stage was cool.
The stage was cool.
I like the whole Statue of Liberty thing and the Brooklyn Bridge.
Unfortunately, a lot of people said the acoustics stunk. Obviously, I had no problem, but that's what people said who weren't at the event. But it's all a go-around for the Super Bowl next year, so hopefully they get that fixed.
You had a good time, though?
Yes.
And that's all that matters?
All fun time at WrestleMania.
I went to Barclays Center. We're going to take a little break, play a little Division 1.1, and when we come back, I'll tell you what the Barclays Center guy told me about my Knicks shirt.
All right, welcome back to the Sndpodcast, sponsored by the Schmuck Sports Radio Network. Dan here with Steve. We're gonna talk about a little basketball.
Well, first off, before we continue, let's thank everybody for joining
yes,
our pool once again.
the 30 people that have joined.
38.
Thank you. 38 people have
38. Congratulations to Frank, the winner. We are currently in discussions about bringing him on, so he will be doing his spot.
What teams does Frank like?
Yankees, Steelers.
Ugh, Steelers. He seems like a front runner.
I don't know. We can get a background from him when he's on. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
So congratulations to them.
Andy at second place. We had a tie for third place. We are in discussions if they are interested in their prize, of course.
Okay. Before we go to the Knicks and Nets, since you are a Michigan fan, give us your little recap on the Final Four weekend. Granted, it didn't end the way you would like, but give us a Michigan fan's perspective on what was the Final Four weekend.
Well, Saturday night was great.
Well, obviously, needless to say, you guys beat Syracuse, which was a pretty impressive win, if I must say myself.
Which, like you said, was an impressive win, which kind of gave me the confidence going into Monday, because if you really think when it comes to Big East basketball, you think of that zone defense. Big East has always been great with the zone defense. So I kind of felt like they could get it. The problem was that they got into foul trouble early. Refs weren't completely playing. I'm not going to blame the refs.
College sports and a referee screwing around? Oh, there's a shock. Anyway.
My favorite part of the whole night, though, was seeing the Fab Five together.
That must have been nice, which is rare because they
actually got a sanction.
Yeah.
So they weren't technically allowed to be together.
Yes.
Technically, Michigan couldn't pay for them to be there.
Yeah.
But I think I heard Jalen Rose on the Bill Simmons report say something about in a couple of weeks it's over anyway.
Oh, okay.
But it was very cool because he said in that report that they don't really have much contact with Chris Webber.
Yeah, which stinks because he's the main focal point in this sanction, unfortunately.
Well,
he is.
How he feels, Jalen Rose, how he feels about it, he thinks that Webber's trying to get rid of that part type thing in his life, you know?
Yeah, it was a rough time.
It was a rough thing to happen to him, so. But it was interesting to see them. Trey Burke had a great game. Got into foul trouble early. Team got into foul trouble.
That's what happens when your best player gets into foul trouble.
But to be honest, they played better after he got in foul trouble in the first half. So that was interesting. I hope they come back next year.
Yes, absolutely. That was my next question.
Trey Burke was a sophomore. Also, Tim Hardaway Jr. was also a sophomore. And Glenn Robinson III, I believe, was a freshman.
Yeah.
So that core, if they can come back, you can possibly say.
I could see the last two come back.
Last two, but Trey Burke might not.
He might not. Realistically, it's the era of the one and done. Well, he's a sophomore, right?
Right. He was actually convinced by Tim Hardaway to come back for the second year.
Okay, so he was going to be one and done, and then he.
And also think about this: he won Big Ten Player of the Year. He won Tournament of the Year player. He won the Player of the Year for the tournament. Player of the tournament.
So he
basically won. He swept the board when it came to major awards, except for the national championship.
Gotcha.
So really, and you know what was cool? That they lowered the basket, and they let Kevin Ware cut the last string off the net.
That's nice. Yeah, of course.
But it was a fun season. I mean, it's the first time I ever really saw Michigan basketball have a hell of a year. It's very exciting. Hopefully, like I said, they come back next year and they can try and finish what they started, quote unquote.
That would be nice.
But anything can happen. But here in the tri-state area, there's playoff basketball in the air.
Yes, playoff basketball.
We're about a little over a week away from the start.
Yeah, next Saturday or Sunday, depending on the NBA figuring out who's playing who. The Knicks are finally clinched your Eastern Atlantic Conference. I'm sorry.
Eastern Atlantic Conference champion.
No, Atlantic Division.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I apologize. The sky's the limit for the Knicks. They're playing 13 wins in a row. I didn't jinx them the other night. Thank God. It looks close for a minute. but the Knicks took care of business.
Yes. Big win in OKC since we last recorded as well.
Huge win in OKC. It's just been that they're playing like that unit that they were playing at the beginning of the year, and that everybody was like, oh, we haven't seen the Knicks play like that since November. So it's great to see the Knicks playing in full cylinders and just kicking a lot of butt right now, and it's really great to see. Melo is on fire.
5 straight 35-point games, I think it is.
He's gone completely off. Unfortunately, LeBron has taken the MVP title pretty much, but Melo is doing his own thing. He has a shot of winning the scoring title.
Well,
hopefully,
as you say that, there's actually a shot at 3 individual awards, if you really want to think about it for the Knicks.
Yes. Six-man award is definitely going to be J.R. Smith.
You got to believe it's going to be J.R. Smith.
He definitely deserves it.
And then you can make an argument for Woodson and Coach of the Year.
It's a very good argument, but I could see Spoelstra winning it just because of...
it's always whoever's got the best record normally.
But for as a real Knicks fan like myself and Steve, it's very great to see. It's very great to see the Knicks playing well. That was our first division since 1994, and
the 93-94 season.
93-94, and I'll be honest, I was young. We were both very young.
We don't really remember much.
We don't remember much other than the Knicks being awesome that year, and I remember watching games, but
that was the other one to the 7th game against the Rockets.
I do remember that team, but I don't remember that year to a T. But
right.
But it's great to see the Knicks actually win a division, and their first goal of the season was to win the division. So one step is out of the way. Now they just got to take care of business and get out of the first round. Like I said, baby steps from the get-go. The Knicks have lost the last 2 seasons to 2 superior teams in the playoffs. First year they got swept. The second year they won 1 game, but the Knicks are built to win now. And if they can get those healthy pieces back and keep on playing the way they are supposed to play, the sky's the limit. I honestly see them going to the conference finals. Hopefully with the right bounces, they find a way to beat the Heat. But I wouldn't be fair. It would be very asinine for me to say that the Knicks would beat the Heat. But way back,
let's not go there yet.
Yeah, let's not go there. 1 game at a time. But the Knicks are playing really well.
1 series at a time.
1 game, 1 series at a time. Anyway, the Knicks are playing out of their minds. Hopefully they beat the Bulls tonight. We are recording on
the 11th of April.
So the Knicks have to end the season off well, and they just got to get healthy into the playoffs and take care of business right now.
So we are talking about the Knicks, and I was saying at the end of the intro before we went to break about that I was at the Barclays Center.
Yes.
And we beat OKC that day.
Correct.
Melo had, 36?
Yes.
So I was feeling
nice
about it. I saw my Melo shirt. I said, you know what? They can't say, nobody can say anything to me. What is it? I think that was 13?
Yes.
Or was that 12 or 13?
12. They won 13 the other night.
And he had 36 points, and I was feeling good. So I get in there. We're walking around. You know, it's first time there. I wanted to check out the place. Walking around, one of the security guys comes up to me.
By the way, the Barclays Center is very nice.
Yes. It's too clean for me. It's too new. But we'll get into that later. Anywho, guy comes up to me and goes,
that's a good thing.
You know, you shouldn't be wearing that shirt around here.
Oh, big tough guy.
I was like, what? Like, I was speechless. Like, really?
Not a net game.
A, it's not a net game. And B, has he checked the standings?
Has he checked the standings, A? And what do they have? 10 real fans?
And who's on the 12-game winning streak and the hottest player in basketball?
Carmelo Anthony.
And what team does he play for?
The New York Knicks.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter. Let's talk Nets since we brought this up. The Nets have a shot of winning 50 games, and that's more than double than they won last year. They pretty much play 1 tough game against the Pacers, and the rest of the season, if they beat the Pacers, they'll pretty much have a shot of winning 50 games. Right. And that's so impressive considering they won 24 last year. and that they've been flying under the radar this whole entire year. I was listening to Boomer and Carton today on the Fan this morning while I was getting ready for work. Can you name me which net is a top 10 scorer in the whole entire league?
Lopez.
Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
Top 10 in the league.
That's why he made the All-Star team.
No, I know, but you don't think about it. You don't think about it because you have the guys like Melo, and you guys have LeBrons, and you got the Wades, and the Pauls. You got all those guys, and then the 10th leading scorer in the league is Brook freaking Lopez.
You know what is interesting about him is when you hear nets and trades, he is the biggest name mentioned.
Yes.
When it
But
comes
that's
to it,
not happening anytime soon, unless it's Dwight Howard. But that's
you could
not,
see
I
a
think
sign and trade during the summer.
I honestly don't see that anymore since Brooks become an all-star.
And also that Dwight's
drama.
playing well recently. Yeah. It's like you're finally seeing the Dwight Howard of old in L.A.
Finally, because Kobe's been hurt and he's finally.
It's not even that. The whole first half of the season, he's coming off back surgery.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, how healthy was he? The first half of the season, he was still.
He wasn't healthy at all because
exactly.
he missed a bunch of games. But the Nets, got to give them credit. They're still being very scrappy. They have a shot of winning 50 games, which any real Net fan who thought that going into the season would take that in a heartbeat, obviously, and you would be like, "Stop it! You're just making a mockery out of making predictions."
Well, let's be real. Every Net fan, every quote-unquote Net fan was like, they're winning a championship because they were moving to Brooklyn.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Anyway, good for them. With the basketball playoffs wrapping up, pretty much
season wrapping up, playoffs aren't even started yet.
We're going to talk about the Eastern Conference tonight because if the Knicks win tonight, pretty much wraps up the 2
seed.
Yeah, wraps up the 2 seed. And right now, the Knicks would be playing the Celtics.
I'll give you the complete rundown.
The Celtics or the Hawks?
Right now, the Celtics. I'll give you the complete rundown right now. Miami, Milwaukee, like it's been.
Okay, yeah, well, that's been the only set in stone.
Right. Knicks, Boston, Indiana, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Chicago.
Okay.
In other words, it would be the winner of the Knick-Boston series versus the Indiana.
Honestly.
Indiana-Atlanta series.
Honestly, as a Knicks fan, obviously, I would love to kick out the Celtics in the first round.
The thing that's scary is that they are the Celtics.
They are the Celtics.
And when Paul Pierce gets hot, they get hot.
That's why I want to play the Hawks. But I don't forget what happened 2 years ago.
Oh, no.
We got embarrassed. Well, we should have won 2 or 3 games. One or 2 games, I'll be fair. But the Knicks weren't gelling yet. So I want to play the Celtics really bad and just embarrass them like they did to us. But it's going to be a tough series, like everybody says, and I really want to play the Celtics just for a selfish point and beat the shit out of them. Next round, all right, so we'll talk about the local guys. The Nets versus the Bulls. That's going to be an interesting series because the Bulls are a very scrappy team, and the Nets are pretty big as well. So you can see what happens with the Bulls. With the Bulls, like if they have Derrick Rose, granted he's not going to be the best per se, healthy, but he's still Derrick Rose, and any Derrick Rose is better than none. Pretty much anybody in the league, other than I guess Darren Williams and Chris Paul, are pretty decent. But that'll be an intriguing matchup. Brooklyn's going to be very loud and very proud, as Brooklyn Knights are always. So that's going to be very interesting for that. With the Heat Bucks series, it's going to be kind of lame. You'd hope that their backcourt with the Bucks are going to be clutch, but you can't stop the Heat. There's just no stopping them, obviously. Just you could hope they can contain them and win a game, let alone just containing them. So.
That series is going to be interesting. I think it's going to come down to the bigs, And how healthy are the Heat? Granted, quote unquote, LeBron's been hurt.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
But I'm not worried about them. The intriguing one would be Indiana, Atlanta.
That's going to be interesting. I think the Pacers are going to take care of them.
I'm not worried about that either. I think the Pacers should be easily beating them. But you know what? Next week we're going to go into a full preview.
Full out preview.
We'll do a full preview next week for
even
everybody.
the Western Conference.
We'll do the Western Conference. We'll do some predictions for the first round. And we'll take care of that next week. So
all right, finish the job, Knicks and Nets, and hopefully we play each other.
Stay healthy.
Yep.
Stay healthy, and let's go Knicks. Let's play some Division 1.1, and we're going to come back and talk a little baseball.
Sndpodcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Basketball Association or any of its affiliates.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Anyway, welcome back to the S&D Podcast. Dan here with Steve. You're listening to the S&D Podcast like I just mentioned. This week's song from Division 1.1 is The Score. You can check them out on iTunes and cdbaby.com.
And Facebook.
And Facebook.
Twitter.
And Twitter.
They have. And they also have a site. It's called Reber Nation. You can become a fan of theirs on there. Get updates on upcoming events and songs and a lot of cool stuff. We're also working on getting them on the show.
Anyway, we're switching gears and we're going to be talking baseball.
We're about a week in.
About a weekend. It's pretty much what we expected with both Mets and Yankees. The Mets are hitting, when their Nets are winning games, they're blowing out teams. When they're losing, they're getting their butts destroyed. Unfortunately, they lost 2 out of 3 against the Phillies this week.
Now they get to go bundle up in their winter jackets.
Yeah, they're going to Minnesota. They're going up to Minnesota, and they're playing, which is supposed to be 35 degrees and most likely snowing tomorrow. So if there's if there's a snow delay or a snow postponement, it's going to be really weird because they're going to have to play because the Mets and Twins don't play for the rest of the entire season.
I'm sorry, but whoever's idea it was to play Minnesota.
Whose idea was not to build a retractable dome like every other team? Pretty much.
Yeah, Tampa plays in a dome.
Yeah, silly. Anyway, that's going to be an interesting series. Both teams are not really going to be expecting much out of this season, but they both could very well turn on for any series because they have guys like Mauer and Morneau and other guys like that.
And they got to play the games.
And you got to play the games. The Mets fans are actually pretty happy that we have our good pitchers on the mound. Unfortunately, Dylan G is still coming back from his season-ending injury last year, so he's still rusty.
And we missed Pelfrey.
Yeah, just missed Mike Pelfrey. And Hefner just had a rough night after the long home run from Chase Utley.
Let's not talk about that.
Spot
started him in one of my leagues.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't know why you did that, but
I needed a guy.
Okay.
He was pitching. He was the best available guy.
That's rough. Anyway, he at least battled, and the Mets kind of try to get back on the board. But for the most part, the Mets did win. They did have a productive homestand to start the season. They did have a productive homestand. They took 2 out of 3 versus the Marlins, and they took 2 out of 3 against the Padres.
That's what they got to do.
They just got to take 2 out of 3. Yeah, they just got to take care of 2 out of 3s. Winning the series is all about. Sunday's game was fun.
3 to 4 wins a week. That's what you need. That's
Wallenberg with the walk-off win, which was very nice to see and impressive. So
the bird is the word.
Bird. All right. Anyway, so far since tomorrow is Friday, so pretty much the Met Player of the Week for me will have to be. I'm
gonna go out on a limb and guess who this is gonna be.
No.
John Buck.
Well, that would be the obvious answer. I'm gonna go. Sleeper. I'm going to go Lucas Duda. Lucas Duda.
Props to Lucas Duda.
Lucas Duda had 2 home runs last night.
That are still
and a
flying.
double. And he's
batting over 400.
Buck has had 15 RBIs, and he's playing well, and he's controlling the pitching staff for the most part. Lucas Duda has to change position, even though he's played left field before. It's just no one's expecting him to really do much, and that's going to be great. It's great to see him hit some pop.
You know what else?
He'd really like our friend Tom, who was on our podcast a few weeks ago. Tom really believes that he could have 25. He has 25 home run potential, and hopefully he has. He already has 3, and he just has to get confident. He's a quiet guy from California, and he just has to get it going. And hopefully he will. The dud of the week, other than their bullpen and their starting pitching, Ike Davis, once again, another slow start for Ike. Only 1 home run. He's just not getting on base, and he needs to wake up a little bit.
See the ball in the early part of the season.
No, he really doesn't. He's like Mark Teixeira kind of. As it heats up, so does Ike. So hopefully it heats up pretty soon for Ike hitting some home runs and
it's not going to heat up this weekend for them.
Well, obviously. That's pretty much for the Mets. They're like we said, they're in Minnesota for this weekend. Pretty much, they got to take 2 out of 3. They should be considered
2 out of 3 every series, or at least
they could definitely beat the Twins. The Twins aren't nothing special. Then after that, they go on to the Rocky Mountains to play the Rockies for a 4-game set.
Let's just give the whole entire team pneumonia.
It's going to be a cold week for the Mets. After that series,
hopefully they get hot as a team, but the weather is cold.
Anyway, they have a 4-game set against the Rockies, and then they play the Nats at home.
And they got a nice little homestand. Nats, Dodgers, Phillies.
That's going to be a very good homestand. I know I'm definitely going on the 21st.
I will be there the 21st, 24th, and 28th.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah.
A lot of Met games. Anyway.
So say hi if you see us, of course.
Anyway, the Mets got to take care of their business, and
yes.
And the best way to do that is just play what they gotta control, and hopefully they stay healthy. And also, I forgot to mention, Jordan Valdison and Colin Cowgill are a pretty good out center field platoon right now.
Yeah, they're both playing well.
They're both playing well. Granted, Cowgill's only hit those couple of home runs. He needs to start hitting a little bit more than those 2 home runs. Granted, they're pretty big home runs, but he has to start hitting a little bit more.
You know the name people throw around when they think of Cowgill is Lenny Dykstra.
Yes, and he also is wearing the number.
Fight.
Yeah,
it's not just the number. It's more
scrappy. He's scrappy and he's small and he doesn't take anything, and I like that.
Right.
He's gonna be a fan favorite right away. Granted, if he hasn't already.
I think he's gonna. I think he could end up staying around for a couple of years too.
That would be nice.
Keep him around.
The Mets need those kind of players.
You know, he's the type of guy who will take a pitch to the elbow if he needs to, just to get on base.
Absolutely. I like that throwback mentality that a lot of the Mets have.
Yeah.
A lot of the Mets. So we just need to start producing wins.
Right.
That's all we're missing.
And also, with the way Dude is hitting, the guys in front of him, if they get on, and if he can stay hot,
exactly,
anything is possible for this team.
Pretty much.
The problem is that they play with the red hot Justin Upton and Upton Brothers.
Yeah, it's going to be... I'm not saying win the division. They just got to take care of business and just got to play the best they can. Because it's going to be a long season.
Entertaining full season. That's what we want.
It's going to be a long season. We're not expecting a World Series or even making the playoffs, but it is what it is. So let's go Mets.
There is another team in the city, and before we go start with them, with the Yankees,
they're going to be very Jekyll and Hyde this year.
I would like to please all Yankee fans take a couple steps back from the bridge.
No.
At first, when they lost those first 2 games, a lot of the people I knew were ready to jump off the bridge.
Not really. Not the fans I know yet. Honestly, it's going to be a very roller coaster year with the Yankees because you're not going to know what they're going to get. Their starting pitching is going to be, like I said in the preview show, it's going to be all about the pitching. And with Hughes on the DL, they've had rough pitching. But the last few games, the Yankees just brought out their whooping sticks, and Robinson Cano just lit it up again. And Robbie's just like, don't worry, guys, I'll take care of it.
The coldest player on earth. I don't know. I remember I think it was Monday. I was driving someplace during work, and Francesca said, "I have no idea what's going on with Cano, but he's just frozen." At night, I think he had 2 home runs.
Yeah, 2 home runs. He's been hitting the ball well. It was kind of weird seeing the other night Travis Hefner, I'm sorry, of the former Indian getting a home run the other night. It was nice to see him hitting a home run against his former team. The Yankees are splitting up runs this week. They just dominated that one game they played the Indians, and the other game they played this weekend.
Actually, they dominated both games against. Well, not really, quote unquote, dominated. But you know who I do want to give props to on that team right now? The ageless wonder, Andy Pettitte.
Yes, he is always the ageless wonder. He's the bulldog, like everybody expected.
He's got 2 wins. I think it was 8 innings in the first game, 7 innings in the second game.
You also got to give props to Kuroda, who was quote unquote hurt, and he pitched pretty well and got enough innings for the win. For the other night. So kudos to that. They actually beat Verlander the other day, which was very impressive.
Yes.
On Sunday.
Pettitte's numbers 2-0, 1.2 ERA, 15 innings, 13 hits.
Okay, so other than Cano, who's your Yankee of the week?
Other than Cano, my Yankee of the week. I'm gonna go with Pettitte.
Pettitte? Okay,
Pettitte.
fair enough.
I mean, he got the first win of the year for them.
He was the stopper, and he survived that.
He's Andy Pettitte. I've always respected Andy Pettitte. Even when he was in Houston, all the times I respect him. I mean, lost a little bit when he pulled the Brett Favre last year.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all good, though.
But he is back. He is Andy Pettitte. It's early in the season. It's a long season. Like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Just all year.
It's going to be all year. The Yankees, they're going to have a tough weekend in hand. They're going to be playing the pesky Baltimore Orioles at Yankee Stadium. So, Yankee fans, show up to the stadium. I know it's going to be a rough year. It's a weekend series, so everybody's going to pile into Yankee
There's no
Stadium.
reason not to in a weekend series.
I'm never worried with the Yankees with weekend games because everybody's going to be coming from Jersey and upstate New York. And
honestly, Baltimore fans will probably make the trip considering it's a weekend series.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a fun series.
And it's Sunday Night Baseball Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's actually going to be a very fun series. I could see the Yankees taking 2 out of 3 if the pitching goes along and their bats stay hot. Also, the Orioles have stayed hot as well and taken care of the Boston Red Sox this week. Manny Machado was the first Red Sox. I saw a funny tweet. First Oriole under 21 to hit 2 home runs against the Red Sox in Fenway.
What about the other Fenway stat?
Jim Palmer was the other, and that was before DHs. I scratched my head a little bit, and then it kicked into me that there was no DHs when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
So him and Manny Machado are the only 2 under 21 Orioles to hit home runs in Fenway.
What about that sellout record?
And that's another thing. That was a very times are getting tough for Boston fans. They stick through pretty much 80 years of never winning a championship.
And then I think it was like 2003.
2003, they've had a sellout every single night. Last night was the first time that there wasn't a quote-unquote sellout that tickets were sold. So it just tells the times are changing. After the rough year they had last year, I'm shocked it didn't end last year. I guess it was everybody that already had season tickets, and they had to suck up getting the tickets.
You know what it was? All the moves that they made last year? Before the season with Gonzalez and Crawford and all that.
Well, Gonzalez was on the team regardless last year.
Right, so they had high hopes last year.
Yeah.
They just...
Yeah, the last 2 years have been rough for Red Sox fans, and it's starting to show that the Red Sox Nation are not appreciating it. But they're going to be a scrappy team as well.
It's early in the year.
Lester had a great start. He's been pitching real well. That's what you expect. If Lester could stay healthy, he is a very good ace for the Red Sox. So, pretty much that.
Before we continue, the other Met of the week you should give props to is John Neese, by the way.
Oh, yeah, of course. Neese has been a stud all season so far. Him
and Harvey.
Harvey, that is also, yeah, how can we forget Harvey?
10 strikeouts and 2 hits the other day.
2 hits the other night. That's just how Harvey deals, and he's going to be the future, like we've been saying. Hopefully,
I believe in Harvey.
Yes, Harvey Dent. Anyway, that's baseball this week. Mets and Yankees have they have very interesting weeks. Hopefully, the Mets actually play and they shovel the snow before they actually play. Don't freeze their butts off, which is going to be hard to ask.
Maybe the cold will help Davis.
Hopefully. Anyway, let's go Mets, and the Yankees got to take care of business against the division foe, the Orioles. Enjoy your baseball this week, and on to hockey.
Sndpodcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by Major League Baseball or any of its affiliates.
Hi, this is Clark Gillies from the New York Islanders. You're listening to the S&D Podcast Show. Go get 'em, boys.
Well, Dan said I can start this segment, and why not? Because I am in a great mood. Welcome back to the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network, and we're going to talk some hockey.
Big hockey week. We just wrapped up watching the Islanders win against the Boston Bruins. The Islanders are 7-1-1 in the last
8-1-1, sir.
8-1-1.
We won tonight.
Yeah, we won tonight.
4-11, we won in Boston.
Huge win. Josh Bailey with 2 goals.
Nabokov on top of his head again.
Nabby was on his head again. Just great to see. With the Islanders playing so well the last couple of weeks, it's really great to see that the Islanders are clicking finally and gelling. Mr. Me, I have been a doubter the whole time, and hopefully they just keep on clicking, playing one game at a time, and one shift at a time. The Islanders are playing really hard, and there's no complaining about
the one thing we kept saying all year was secondary scoring,
and they're finally getting it.
Bailey's the hottest player in hockey.
Bailey and Grabner scored the other night. By the way, we do have to mention, shout out to
Blue and Orange Army
329. Once again, thank you for having us up there.
Yes.
It was awesome, great atmosphere as always. Steve posted a few videos on Facebook and Vine, so be sure to check that out. If you have sensitive ears, I wouldn't suggest you listening, but for the rest of us,
that's why it's not on the podcast page.
Anyway, if you have sensitive ears, don't listen, or if you're at work, don't listen. But I absolutely love their passion, and it's great to see that the old barn is rocking again, other than 329.
The best part is I said it last Saturday night at the Lightning game. I leaned over to Laura and I told her, I go, you know, it's funny. Half the stadium's saying "Let's go Islanders," while half the stadium claps because we're so not used to sellouts because nobody can get in sync.
Yeah, it is true. But the Islanders are playing well. Saturday is going to be a huge night.
God, am I ready for that?
Everybody's going to be ready for that. It's going to be a huge night. It's Islanders-Rangers, and this is what Islanders-Rangers rivalry is all about. Like, they're going to be fighting for the playoff spots. And we
could honestly say we've never seen this type of game in our life.
No, we haven't.
In our life.
No, and it's going to be a very awesome Islander-Ranger game. The Rangers currently in the 8th seed.
Yes.
If the Islanders could either be 7th or 6th seed tonight, depending on how the
Ottawa
Senators end up. What is the up-to-date score at the moment? It was 1-1.
2-1 Ottawa, a minute left. The Senators would then get the 6 because actually 16 seconds left.
Okay,
Ottawa would get the 6 because they have one extra game this season, which is tomorrow night, actually on the 12th.
Who do they play tomorrow?
Devils.
Oh,
I think.
Well, maybe the Devils win their first game in 2 weeks.
Ever.
Anyway, back to the Islanders. The Islanders are playing on full cylinders. They're clicking, and it's the right time to get hot. And it's really rare to see the Islanders they're playing complete games tonight, and I was very proud to see them play how they played tonight. They played a bigger and a big, tough Boston team that is so good defensively in their own zone and forechecking in every possible way. And the Islanders fought all 60 minutes and took the win. Tough road win, and you got to give the Islanders a lot of credit on how they've been playing. Do you have any other comments before we move to the Rangers?
No.
No? All right.
What else is there to say?
Well,
it's exciting.
the Islanders have two
I don't
more
want to say anything stupid.
Yeah,
Let's
the
put it
Islanders
out.
have 2 more home games. Saturday night's going to be huge, and I hope it's going to be a lot more Islander fans this time, which I'm sure it's going to be 50-50, but I hope the Islander fans bring their noise. Don't get into any stupid... Hopefully there's no stupid fights, but we can't stop any idiots on both sides.
You got to think the Ranger fans who bought these tickets saw it as an opportunity to make money off an Islander fan.
Hopefully. You never know.
And vice versa, of course.
Vice versa, of course.
It'll run both ways. And it's officially final. 3-1, Ottawa wins. Islanders are the 7th going in.
Okay, which is fine. It's fine.
It's about making the playoffs.
The Islanders is all about making the playoffs this year. Because, let's be realistic, we weren't expecting playoffs, other than the really rare few like Steve. So the Islanders are playing hot. Let's see how hot they can be. On to the Rangers. The Rangers they won the other night, which was a huge win in a shootout. And they played well. They still have that. They're still in neutral. I hope Saturday isn't the night that they finally put it into drive and make the playoffs. They've been the same this whole entire season: win 2, lose 3, and kind of thing, which they've played well as of late. And they need to help Henrik and get it going a little bit. But they had Matt Zuccarello had a nice game. Boyle had the best game out of all the Rangers last night. He played
on the 10th.
On the 10th, he played his brains out that night, and he really did. And Lundqvist was on his head. I actually thought Lundqvist made that save on that last goal he gave up. But
you mean when Sam Rosen said that?
No, but I said it before Sam Rosen. I thought it was a save too, so I can't really hate Sam Rosen. I was like, oh, what a save! And I'm like, oh, he scored. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I was watching the game with Laura, and I'm like, that puck's in the net.
I honestly thought it was a save at first, too. I don't know.
Cheering.
I guess it's because I didn't have my glasses on. That's a fair reason. Sam is just old. Anyway, the Rangers need this game against the Islanders just as bad as the Islanders need to win.
I feel like at this point, the Rangers need it more than the Islanders.
Of course, because they're technically the 8th seed.
But the Islanders need it because of...
just history and
the Islanders.
Rights. They just needed the bragging rights.
Basically, the Islanders have, I believe it's 7 games left. They need to go 4-3 to make the playoffs. 54 points in it. The Rangers have 8 games left.
The Islanders and Rangers just have to take care of their business, and they both will make the playoffs.
At this point, it looks like both teams are going to end up in the playoffs.
Moment. And the last and final team, the Devils.
Yeah.
Yikes!
You remember when we both said they were making the playoffs?
Yeah.
Not to worry.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. That's definitely hit. That definitely hit rock bottom, man. 8-game losing streak.
Sorry, Devil fans, we jinxed you.
Yeah. 8-game losing streak. They can't find goals. I think it's pretty much after Kovalchuk got hurt.
Yeah.
And they have had absolutely no scoring.
Elias forgot how to play.
Everybody's forgotten how to play, and Brodeur is on an island by himself. And they lost a tough game to the Bruins last night, and they were down 3-1, and they fought back, which is great to see.
Yes.
And still, some way, somehow, the Devils have a 4-game. They're only 4 points out of a playoff spot, so they're never out until it's over, like I've been saying. But this 8-game losing streak obviously is stunning their growth on trying to make the playoffs. they can turn it on quickly, as you can see. That's how they made their playoff run last year. But there's not a lot of time left. If they don't start winning now, it's not going to happen because they have to leapfrog a few teams that aren't going to be hard to leapfrog, like the Islanders and the Rangers at this moment.
The advantage the Devils have,
Is it the experience?
the team right above them is Winnipeg. And then the other team that they might have to play against, who won their first game in their last 6 today, was Ottawa.
It's going to
And
be
they play
huge.
Ottawa, so it's a
gonna
big
be
game
huge.
tomorrow night against the Senators.
That's going to be a huge game for the Devils. I would like to see them start winning. Of course, hopefully not under the Islanders' expense or the Rangers' expense, but it's
Ranger expense is okay.
Anyway, just overall, I would like to see all 3 teams make the playoffs, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Hey, it could. I said,
it could happen. The Devils are not dead yet, but they're starting to be on the respirator a bit. So the Devils have to shake it up a little bit and get it going.
They're still in the debating whether to pull the plug or not.
Yes, pretty much. So keep enjoying the hockey. If you're at the Ranger game, if you're at the Island Ranger game, go say hi to Steve and our friends at 329. Unless you're wearing a Ranger jersey, you don't really want to get mocked, but it's going to be all in fun.
Also, be smart about everything you do.
Guys, just be smart. You guys know Ranger fans and vice versa.
There's no reason
to be drunk smart. It's pretty much who has the biggest package type of fight, and they're just drunken idiots more times than not.
There's no reason for it.
There really isn't. It's just all about having fun and watching your team win.
Right.
And
it's playoff time.
It's
a playoff hockey game Saturday night. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited to watch it at home. I got my popcorn ready and my recliner ready to go, so I'm very excited for that game. What do you think is going to happen in that game? I think it's going to be a very tight game like it happened the last game.
I think it's going to be exactly like the last game.
Hopefully the Islanders play 60 minutes this time and get more than one penalty.
Think about the difference between this time and last time.
Hopefully
they played 60 minutes.
Yes, and hopefully the Islanders get more than one penalty called against the Rangers that night. That'd be nice.
That'd be a shock.
Probably.
That'll be the day. It's like playing Pittsburgh.
Anyway,
congratulations to the Penguins, by the way, who have clinched the playoff spot / the Atlantic Division.
Congrats.
We got it right this time. Atlantic Division, not Atlantic Conference.
Yeah.
And the Blackhawks have also clinched the playoff spot.
Those are the only two.
At this moment. But it is playoff time. It's exciting. The only bad part about it really is that the Islanders only have 2 home games left, and they have 3, 6, 7 games left. So that's the only bad part. You kind of were hoping to get a chance.
But the Islanders are a better road team.
Not as of late.
Not as of late, but they're notoriously better.
Well, yeah, but they're only 9-11-2 at home, but 12-5-2 on the road. Surprisingly enough, they're the only team that's quote unquote in the playoffs now who has a negative goal differential. And it's only a -2. It's not like a -15 like the Devils. But yeah. The key is that they want to be the 6, because then they get to play a team like Washington or possibly even the Winnipeg Jets in the Southeast Division, because the division winners get the top 3 spots. So you want to end up being the 6, but you'll take the playoffs no matter what. The idea is to make the playoffs. The idea is to get the experience in the playoffs. You need to get what playoff hockey feel is, and the Islanders are going to learn that on Saturday. That's why I think it's going to be a very tough game, because of the fact that it will be like the first real playoff field game for them.
It's going to be, it's going to be rocking. The old barn's going to be rocking, and it's going to be shaking. And
these Islanders never felt this before.
It's going to be amazing to see the Islanders actually play in a playoff atmosphere kind of game. And it really is going to show what the Islanders are really made for in the playoffs, because there's going to be absolutely no better test than an Island Ranger game where the playoffs are on the line.
The problem with the Rangers is they're not getting they're like the Islanders early in the year. They're not getting quote-unquote secondary scoring. They're relying on Nash too much, it seems to me recently. I mean, Steffen's having a great year, yes. Kreider got his first goal last night against Toronto in, I think it was like 3 weeks. I mean, Hagelin, I'm sorry. Hagelin got his first goal.
Yeah,
So,
he's been slumping as of late.
But like I said, they need to step it up. The rest of the Rangers, if they want to make any hay in the playoffs. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I can't wait to see what happens. We're going to take a little break, play a little more Division 1.1, the score for you guys, and then we'll come back and wrap this up.
Sndpodcast is no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Hockey League or any of its affiliates.
Welcome back to the S&D Podcast. Dan here with Steve. You just once again listened to the Song of the Week, The Score from Division 1.1. They've been taking care of a lot of business this week. Just in general, they've been hopefully coming out with the new CD very soon, and see what happens with that. Steve, we had a very fun-packed show. It was a very good week. It's very exciting that all 4 teams. 5 teams, I apologize. All 5 teams.
5 teams? 4 teams?
No, double.
Can't really count doubles.
There are still 4 points out. All 5 teams have a shot at making the playoffs, and 4 of them are actually in prime position. It's going to be fun the next few months. Hopefully that some of the teams stick and get hot. I'm very excited. I'm just excited. The Knicks haven't won a division since '94, so the sky's the limit for them. The Islanders haven't been playing this well in ages, as long as I've been a fan. Maybe other than the 2001-2002 season. Other than that season, the Islanders have not been playing that well, and as of late, and they were the 6th seed that year. So hopefully the Islanders find a way to be the 6th seed, and anything's possible. As for the Rangers, they just gotta become the Rangers that everybody expected them to be, and make some noise in the playoffs. Even though at the moment they are the 8th seed, there isn't a lot of expectation out of the 8th seed. But hey, the Kings did win the Stanley Cup last year, and Henrik Lundqvist is their goalie. So as long as Henrik gets hot, anything can happen with them. The Knicks and Nets, they're both playing. They're on fire right now. They both clinched a playoff spot, and the Knicks already have 50 wins, and the Nets are borderline 50 wins. If they beat the Pacers this weekend, the sky's the limit, because they're playing the Wizards and the Pistons before they get to the 50 wins. So if they beat the Pacers, they'll definitely get 50 wins, unless they decide not to play and somehow the Wizards or the Pistons take advantage of that, which is unlikely.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's all about the playoffs, and it's going to be fun the next few months of seeing which team survives and makes a deep playoff run.
Also, just a heads up, everybody, look out. Next week we will have our NFL Draft Preview Show, which is 2 weeks from tonight on April 25th is the draft. We will record that show next week, so look for it next Friday, the 21st. Will be up and running for everybody's morning commute. And unlike the baseball show, it will be one show.
It will be one show, and then we're going to try to...
we got some cool guests coming in.
Yeah.
We're excited about it. We got some cool things for everybody.
I'm not going to try to bore us.
I told you the wrong date. It'll be up by the 19th.
Okay.
21st is a Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
So it'll be up on the morning of the 19th for your commute. It'll be up at probably by midnight on the 18th if you really want to stay up late and wait for it. So I hope you enjoy this week's show. I know I did. I'm sure Dan did.
Absolutely.
Let's go Islanders.
Let's go Knicks. And thanks for listening, and enjoy your week.
We'll finish it off with a little more Division 1.1 for you guys, and have a good weekend.